Yo gamer, Nemi here. Welcome to another Tekken 7 video, and today I have a short tutorial episode on my boy Steve. And I thought I would look at his forward 3, which is pretty much called his duck, or the extended duck, where all these moves come in, right? Extended duck 2, extended duck. We all know the forward 3 extended duck. Now I chose to do a short tutorial series on this particular move because I feel as though this is one of his best tools on his command list, and I feel as though a lot of Steve players don't know just how good his duck cancels really are, or the ducking move is basically how good this move is. So I'm going to take a look at a few things. Firstly, let's talk about the duck cancel. So basically we have where all these moves come in, right? We have extended duck 1, which launches on counter hit, extended duck 2, which is, launches on normal hit, -14 and safe. Then we have the extended versions. This one knocks down on normal hit. This one like launches hella high, a skyscraper. We also have his forward 2 as well, which is an unblockable, the guard break. These are the basic stuff. He does have all these moves that come out of this duck, but now we get to the more advanced stuff, or like intermediate stuff, which is the duck cancel. So you can cancel the forward 3 dash by holding down back. So like forward 3 down back, and you recover from crouching status. So all your outstanding moves will be accessible from this, right? So outstanding 1, outstanding 2, right? Outstanding full crouch down forward 2, full crouch down forward 1. It's basically the same thing. Duck inside all cancel. Forward 3, down back inside outstanding cancel. Forward 3, right? It's basically what this is. Now, why is this good? Why is this good, do you say? Okay, so firstly, like I said, it's basically crouching status. So this thing is going to crush highs, hella highs. So for example, I do have Kazuya here recorded to do electrics. Let's see. There we go. So Kazuya is he's gonna feed a Doria. So I'm gonna spam Steve's duck cancel here. So here we go. So you see that? It's basically a high crash, and even if I recover, I'm still able to block immediately. You see that? So this is a very safe approach, right? And this is what makes Steve a very bad matchup for Mishimas, because he can easily crush the electrics and get an instant wall punish visually after visually seeing the electric whip like that. So Steve is amazing against Mishimas, and this is why I say it's a very underrated tool, right? Very underrated tool. So now this can be used as a way to get in as well, because I know a lot of Steve players in my comments, like in my Steve tutorial, a lot of players just were saying they don't know a good way to approach with Steve, right? Because he's Steve is not an easy character to play. Beginner level, he's a very difficult character to master. He needs a lot of dedication, a lot of practice. So one of the major complaints I was getting from Steve players was it's very difficult to approach with this character. Like what do you have? You have jab, which is obvious, right? Back 1, you have a life deficit, bro. Back 1 is not gonna save your life. You have to go in with Steve. And boy oh boy, this is one of the easiest ways to get in with this character. Like forward 3 is just, it's amazing, guys. A safe approach that crushes highs. Like what else would you ask for? So this is what I really wanted to talk about. Forward 3, it's just really an amazing approach. So you can go stuff like what forward 3 is that outstanding 2, which does have some crushing built in as well, crushes highs a lot. The outstanding 1, it's just amazing. And for you to get a reference on this, guys, Ni recently won a tournament, I believe last weekend, which was Japan versus Korea. I believe they had some special tournament, and Ni against Osan is, bro, like you have the footage right there. Like if you want to understand what I'm talking about, guys, go watch that match immediately. Winners finals, Ni versus Usan, Steve versus Kazumi, and you'll see just how much Ni spams the forward 3 approach. Like this in itself is a pure 50-50, right? Forward 3 cancel, into full crouch down forward 1, or forward 3 cancel into full crouch down forward 2. Like, this is a cheap mix-up, because at the end of the day, Steve will poke you and annoy the shit out of you and make you press buttons, whether you like it or not. I don't care if you're Aslan, I don't care if you're fucking JDCR. When this character is in your face and in peekaboo, he's going to force you to press buttons. So every time Steve is in this stance, the peekaboo, people get pressured to press buttons. So every time Steve does this, right, he comes in, people will start ducking, expecting the law. That's why you bring up the boom, the 50-50. Right, now, of course, this is launch punishable, so I try to use this as your last resort, right? Try to make that big comeback, you do that. So that's one of the reasons forward 3 is really good. It's really good for approaching a character or getting in, and secondly, for crushing highs. Now, thirdly, this approach is also very good against characters with down forward 2s. You know, the cheap down forward 2s, right? So let's say Paul. Let's go with Paul here. Down forward 2 is one of the most annoying move in the game. Very cheap, most of them are safe, they launch on normal hit, they have insane whiff recovery, very difficult to whiff punish. So dealing with down forward 2s is very annoying. But with Steve, because his forward 3 is regarded as crouch status, down forward 2 will not launch. So for example, I'll crouch here, you see, Paul won't be able to launch me. So it's the same for like forward 3. You see that? You won't be able to get, like, this thing is amazing against down forward 2s, guys. Trust me. That freaking Shaheen player that keeps on spamming down forward 2, bro, this is your go-to. This is your go-to. It's insane against down forward 2s. So guys, this is a little sneak peek or just a little short discussion on Steve's forward 3 or the TEKKEN console. That's basically what I wanted to talk about with this character. Like, his forward 3 is very slept on, especially for Steve intermediate players. This approach is very good to get in. It's good for crushing highs, very good against Mishima characters, electric province characters, crushes highs, crushes jabs, and is a good safe approach with character down forward 2s. The second, or let's say the fourth thing I will add to this tutorial is the extended duck mix-ups, because you know he does have the unblockable, right, or the guard break rather. Then he has the mix-up with the mid, which launches on normal hit. So we all know this, guys. If you're a Steve player, you must know this. Of course, not an easy combo to do by a Mao, right? Oh my god, I dropped it. One last time. There we go. Anyway, so yeah, so he has unblockable and the safe mid mix-up. Now, one thing you guys should understand is this thing can be delayed, right? There's a timing to this that pro players counter. They do to counter. They twitch duck, right? They duck, they stand up. So the unblockable will whiff and the mid will be blocked, right? That's how they deal with this pressure. So the best thing to do with this is either delay the mix-up or cancel into full crouch. Cancel into full crouch is that all standing punish, right? Cancel full crouch all standing, cancel full crouch, go low. You don't always have to commit, right? You just have to mess around with the timing. Because again, like I said with the life lead, Steve, it's very difficult to make a comeback with Steve if you have a huge life deficit. So doing this is really needed. Like making that comeback, you have to mess up your timing. You have to use the unblockables at, you know, one specific time during your comeback. Like, you just have to. Oh my god, I haven't played Steve in such a long time. There we go. So yeah, so guys, that's what I really wanted to talk about, the duck console, the strength of the duck console. If you're an intermediate Steve player, please try to implement this into your gameplay. As a pro player, if you did not know about this, or at least you know something, right? I plan to do a bit more on this short tutorial series, because unfortunately I don't have my PC with me, so I can't really make the long tutorial videos again. But this is what I really want to talk about. You guys know I love Steve, I main Steve as well, so just thought of sharing the knowledge about the duck console. So yeah, that's it, my boys. If you've made it this far, please consider subscribing to my channel. I do all sorts of variety content, tutorials, little videos, shorts, all that jazz. So yeah, GG my boys, and take care.